It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 9 of The Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a new photo that was released for the next episode, Season 9, Episode 15, called The Calm Before. This is the lead up to the finale, of course, and this particular picture that we're going to look at is actually very revealing, and it's very telling about what we might end up seeing most likely near the end of the next episode. And this is our first official tease at the Pikes border lineup. Now, if you are not a comic reader and if you're not interested in knowing comic material, then this is the time to leave, because this video will contain a lot of spoilers from the comic book when it comes to the border lineup scene. I know many of you have by this time, even if you're not a comic reader, heard about the border Pikes lineup. You might not necessarily know what it is, but you've heard about it. So that's why I don't really think it's spoilers to put this in the title. But my discussion will definitely contain some spoilers from the comics. So that's why this is your official spoiler warning if you're not a comic reader and if you're not interested to know about comic material. So with that said, let's jump right into this. This is the photo that we're talking about. Now, I did go through all the photos that were released for the next episode in detail. You can check that out on the channel. But this particular one, I didn't really explain in detail in the actual video that I did the other day. Not because I didn't notice it, but because I didn't want to spoil it for non-comic readers. And since the other video was most likely going to be seen not just by comic readers, but by everyone, I thought that it makes more sense for me to do a standalone video on this. But in the photo, we have Daryl Dixon and Yumiko. They are in the middle of this field and they are looking at something. They seem to be shocked by what they are seeing. And obviously, based on everything I've said, you know by this point what I think they're looking at. I think they are coming across the Pikes border lineup, which is absolutely insane. Now, like I said, I think this most likely takes place near the end of the episode, so I don't think we're gonna actually get the full reveal about the Pikes deaths in the next episode, but I do think that we're going to get this particular scene where they actually find the Pikes lineup scene in the next episode. One thing that's very interesting is that we have some Pikes in the background here as well. That's another Easter egg sort of thing, or foreshadowing, or whatever you want to call it. But they're definitely shocked, terrified in a way. But like I said, they're most likely witnessing the Pikes lineup scene. Now, I'm sure it's not just going to be them. There's going to be others with them. By this photo, these two are the only ones we see. Now, this means that obviously we're not going to see Daryl and Yumiko on the Pikes lineup scene. They weren't in my predictions anyway. But other than that, the other thing that's very interesting is that in the trailer of the next episode and in the sneak peek, we had Yumiko, Daryl, Michonne, and Carol together. And they were surrounded by Whisperers and they were confronted by Beta and Alpha. If this takes place after that, which I think it is, and if they don't split up, which I don't think they will, then that means that Carol, Michonne, Daryl, and Yumiko are all safe. None of them are going to be on the death list or on the chopping block. But that doesn't necessarily mean that. But there's a very, very good chance that none of them are going to be in the Pikes lineup. Now, I've done my predictions before about who I think is going to be in the Pikes lineup. You can check it out on the channel if you're interested. But obviously by this photo, we know it's not going to be Daryl or Yumiko. Now, another thing that's very cool and interesting is that we have this shot of Alpha that was also released. This picture is from the next episode as well. Now, she's standing on top of a hill, it seems, and she's looking at something. She has her double barrel shotgun and her knife. Now, there's a good chance that these two could be connected. Alpha could be on top of the hill watching them reacting to the Pikes lineup. And she could very well give a speech to them right after that and give them a stern warning. Do not cross our land if you don't want anyone else to die. And obviously, if they are looking at the Pikes border lineup scene, I don't think they're gonna be thinking about revenge. At least not for the time being. They're gonna be very shocked to begin. And it's gonna take some time for them to get over that shock and to be able to actually think straight, to see how they can fight back against the Whisperers. That's basically everything I wanted to talk about. This seems to be our first official look at the Pikes border lineup scene, which is very cool, but very nerve-wracking, and it gets me very anxious because I don't think I'm ready for it. I do want to share a few very well done Photoshop images. These are not real that I'm going to show, but they're very well done and I love them. They're pretty cool. One is this one, which is of the Pikes lineup scene. It's done by Freakish Order and they've done some amazing Photoshop images before, but we have Rosita, Henry, Jerry, Kelly, Luke, Alden, and Tammy Rose on the Pikes lineup. Now, obviously, these are not my picks. I don't think these are gonna die, at least not all of them. But it could be Freakish Order's predictions about the death lineup, but I just thought this was pretty well done. You obviously can't tell that it's not real if you don't know. If they just released this, you might think that it's real. Like, it's extremely well done. But in terms of who I think is gonna get it from these people and who I agree with, I would say Tammy Rose, Alden, Luke, maybe Jerry, and Rosita. I don't think Henry will be there, and I don't think Kelly will be there. But the others I could definitely see being on the Pikes lineup. Now, like I said, we're most likely not going to get a reveal about who's going to be on the Pikes lineup and who's going to die in the next episode. That's most likely going to come in the finale. Now, another well done Photoshop image that I want to show you that's also by Freakish Order is this one. Now, if this is done in the show, it's most likely going to be in season 10. Something like this was obviously done in the comics, so if they're following the comic material, we're going to see the same thing. But it's Negan holding Alpha's head. I thought that was very well done, and I really, really love this right here. If it wasn't for spoiling non-comic readers and or putting graphic images on the thumbnail, I would have definitely used these for some of my thumbnails. But I would love to see something like this come to life in the TV show. Will we see it or not? That's a different question. But I definitely do want to see something like this in the TV show. Or at least some sort of interaction between Alpha and Negan. If it doesn't end with Negan killing Alpha, that's disappointing. But I just hope that we get an interaction between them. Now that takes me to my last point. The last thing I do want to say before I end this video is that I will be doing a video where I talk about why I think we need an interaction between Alpha and Negan, and not only that, but also Negan and Beta, and whether I think we will see it or not. But that's basically everything I wanted to talk to you guys about in this video. Pike the like button if you enjoyed what you saw. See you next time for another super video. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe for more content, and press the bell button to receive notifications for daily uploads.